Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Community Preservation Committee meeting, February 19th. We are in the McCullough Hearing Room. We have two members that are on via Zoom. Claire, can you hear me?
I can.
Thank you. And Kristen, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Perfect. All right. So we will go ahead and get started. I will start with Freddie under budget review. And I know we were adding things in the Dropbox. A lot of things kept coming in, so I'm not sure how much everybody reviewed, but in your packet. Yep. So we'll let Freddie start with that.
All right, so I think I went over this in November. And there were a couple of unknowns, and there always are, but we do our best to finalize them. I got a recent communication with the executive director of the Community Preservation Coalition, and they thought mid-teens was a good number to go with for the state match. And we're calling it the state distribution, just a lot of years of calling it the other. But so the state distribution, supposedly DOR is going to try to come up with good numbers or more informed numbers at the.
Excuse me, Freddie, can you just speak up? Because I can't hear. Is anybody, Kristen, can you hear okay?
Well, how's that?
That much better. Thank you.
I
Okay.
had a funny voice, sorry.
I'm going to tell them what sheet you're looking at. Too.
Okay, so it says estimated budget fiscal year 27, and there's pink and green on the bottom. So what happened is we're going for now with a 14%. DOR at the end of the month would come back with maybe a different number, but we have to have the warrant in, and this was the best. And I'll tell you, I was going through old emails back in November from the Community Preservation Coalition. I saw one that said, your guess is as good as ours. So I've been working on this for that many months, and I'm comfortable with this to go forward. The surcharge is a draft estimate I worked on with the town treasurer, and we take last year's, first of all, we had to come up with what actually was billed out last year, which we, in our budget, had an estimate, right? So now we get the exact number. You had to keep waiting for that to come in. And then looking at expectation of how much taxes are going up this year. We worked together and came up, well, I should say I requested numbers consistently, and 4.5%. We believe it's going to be a little, right now it's a little bit more like 5%, but it might go, who knows, right? So we can take an adjustment next year if we need. I don't think it's out of the ballpark. So we come up with the total receipts. Then we set aside the 10% for the uses of the CPA, historical, community housing, open space, and admin. You have that total amount that you subtract from the total receipts, because now you have a dollar amount. And then we take the bond payments out of that. And one little caveat is that the 10% historical, we allocate bond payments to that 10% because it's well over that amount. So we don't have to put it in a bucket and then move it back. It's done and it's noted. So we have the next page shows you what the balances in the different CPA accounts are. And these haven't changed much since we went, I mean, the process is the same, but there's a, the fine tuning is a little bit different here and there. So we have what's in historical, open space, and housing. Then there's the 26 CPA fund balance. That is the same. The budgeted reserve That's a set number. However, we have a short-term note for the townhouse because we have some money that wasn't bonded, but they took it out against a short-term note. So there's, that payment is going to come due in like June, so that's fiscal year 26, so we take it out of that account. And then leaves a balance. Then you have, from the first page, what was left after we estimated the surcharge, the state distribution minus the set-asides, and then the bond payments, and we have 178,881 that is available for current year projects, or will be put in this thing called the budgeted reserve that will stay there until we need it, probably for town meeting. And then below that, yeah, there's just the bond, right? Not sure if that's it. So that's everything in the budget. And I think there's one last payment that, one last line that didn't get included here. Do you see where all the accounts, the fund balance, the budgeted reserve, the anticipated funds, and I have a total amount of $1,023,703. We have to subtract that 34,475.
So the 34,475 is,
Okay, so that is an estimate. When that note, trying to describe this easily. When that note gets paid off, there's still all that money that needs to be refunded.
Yep.
Sorry, not refunded, but we need to fund it another way. It could be a bond or it could be another short-term note. I got from Brian how much the annual payment, and that is fiscal year 27 that we're budgeting for now. So we want to be sure if we were to spend that full amount, not that, who knows, but that you don't want to spend the full 1,023,703 because you have this potential amount for a commitment that we have to pay. It might be less, but we don't expect it to be more. So there should be another line under there. I think it got cut off on the spreadsheet. Okay? If anyone wants to do the math, or I can send it again. So that is the budget.
before we move to, sorry, is there another sheet you're going to go through?
Well, there's not a sheet about the warrant article for
Yes.
the budget.
I just want to know if anyone had any questions on what you presented so far before we get to warrant article. I'm just looking at shaking heads. Claire has her hand up. Go ahead, Claire.
Thank you. So it was very difficult to follow because the budget was not shown. I printed out the copies of what was sent to us in the Dropbox. And I think that for somebody viewing or looking in at this and who'll be able to, if we're trying to get people to support this, it's a little unclear. My first question is, when was the last time what's the date of the review of these numbers with Brian?
They don't change.
Excuse me?
The review with what Brian has input in, we did this in November. I might have gone back to him again, but the numbers don't change. These are
Okay.
balances. They're not. And then the surcharge was based on his numbers. That doesn't change based on the last year. The 4.5% hasn't changed since November. The only thing that changed is up to the discretion of the CPC, which I do the work and the advising on, and that is the state distribution percentage. That's not a Brian number. That's me working with the coalition, doing my research in other ways, and coming up with the best number. So this is basically balances from last year, and then all of the other numbers haven't really changed except for the 14% based on the best information from the experts and my gut feeling for doing this for over 20 years. And we went through this in November, right?
And Claire, I'll just add for any members of the public, I take your point that we didn't put it on the screen, but all of these numbers are actually within the warrant articles that we're going to be, correct?
Well, that's specifically why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, it's all of it. If you look at the draft warrant articles, it's in the budget. It's all of the numbers Freddie just talked about. It talks about
Exactly, but-
set-asides.
But this is the source data for the warrant article. Correct?
I didn't hear what you said. I'm sorry, Claire.
This is the source data for the
Yes.
warrant article?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
What would you like to see different here?
Well, first, I printed the material out, and I just, maybe you guys can't screen show it or whatever, but I just think of something, and maybe it's gonna be presented later on. Which is fine, but I think that if you want people to be able to understand it, it just needs to be displayed. That's my only opinion. That's it. There we go.
Can you go to the first page? The other worksheet? Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, I had the wrong.
This one?
Yeah. So basically, we have numbers, which are the surcharge, the draft estimate from town treasurer,
And that's as of your November meeting with them, correct?
the draft estimate comes from, the answer is yes, but the draft estimate comes from what was billed last year, because we know that's how much the surcharge was last year. The surcharge is based on our taxes. It's a percentage, it's 1% of your taxes minus a couple of exclusions. So he comes up with that number that the surcharge was last year, and our best reasonable estimate of how much they're going out up this year, which at this point in time is 4.5%. So we multiply it out, and that's the dollar amount you come up with. Does that make sense?
If that's the process, yes, yep.
So then you have, based on last year's billed amount, because the state distribution is not against this year, it's against the actual collected funds from the prior year. And then it is a percentage of that based on all of the communities that are withdrawing and all of the money that's gone into the state account. So that comes up with a percentage that our best estimate is 14% of what our billed amount was for last year. And that's what it comes out to mathematically. And then you add those two together, and that is the total amount that we expect to have as receipts for this, for the CPA for fiscal year 27. Any questions there, Claire?
No, seeing it up on the screen really helps out as you go through it. Thank you.
All right.
Let me just ask if Kristen, do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Continue.
So I just want to make it, this is a draft worksheet for the committee. It's not a document that gets published in the warrant. So I have a couple of notes here, just not to forget. So there's a rounding numbers becomes a problem for DOR. So in the Excel sheet, if you have 87 cents, it will round up to the next dollar. We can't do that. I have to round it down. But when you're using a spreadsheet and the numbers might change, and then I wait till the end to do the rounding down because it just gets too complicated otherwise.
Okay.
So then what you have is your set-asides next. Historical, and we don't set that aside because we are already going to be using it towards a bond later on. So I make that note. Then you have the community housing and open space and admin. You totaled them up, except for you don't include the historical because that's being used towards a bond. So the total of the set-asides becomes the 146,890. And that's why I have the historical in a box, so you can understand that's not added into the total. So then you have to subtract the total set-asides from the total receipts. So then you have the dollar amount of revenue available to fund the bonds and other projects. And then underneath, you have all of the bonds. And then you subtract those bonds from the anticipated revenue after admin, open space, and community housing set-aside. You come up with a dollar amount, and there's a note that there's a note payment, because that's kind of grouped in with the bond, so I don't forget to subtract that from another account on the next page. Is that all set, Claire?
You're on mute, Claire.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I'm just trying to follow along, but thanks very much. And if everybody understands this, please feel free to move on. If nobody else needs this level of detail, I just it's just easier, I think, for a lot of people to realize that when you're talking about it and you actually see it. That's my only thing.
Okay, thank you, Claire.
Mhm.
So,
Do you want to show the,
yeah, Grant, will you pull up it's, what is it? 2.18.25 CPC fiscal year budget draft?
well,
Draft.
do you want to go through the next page?
Well, I think it's,
Does you want to see the dollar amounts in the accounts?
Claire, do you want us to go through the second page again, too?
Sorry, if everybody else is good with it, I'll just go back and I'll review it through the transcript.
Okay, so I'll just say the next page is basically balances in accounts. There's no, it's sort of like, you know, what's there is there, and then, except for what we're moving over from the front page, okay?
All right, so why don't we pull up the draft warrant articles, and Freddie can go through those, and we can get these are the administrative articles that are every year, same thing, and you'll find, Claire, too, as we go through the draft warrant articles, it's the exact same numbers that Freddie just went over. It's transported into this document, and why don't you start with Article 1, Freddie? We'll let Grant pull it up first.
So you're gonna bring up the article, correct?
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
yep,
Thank you.
yep,
So
yes, thank you. All right, Freddie.
So every year we have to submit our budget to be approved at
Just
town
do it,
meeting.
yeah.
So you
So
have the,
why is it saying fiscal year 2025?
On the first paragraph.
yeah,
And again, Claire, that's why we're going through this.
Okay,
So we can, that's a good catch,
okay.
and we'll adjust that. Thank you. Do you see it?
yeah, I do. I
Okay.
changed it yesterday. I don't know how it got changed
That's okay.
back, but,
That's a good catch. Thank you.
so, yeah, any of those, anything like that you see, please, because this sheet starts swimming, you always want another set of eyes. When I say start swimming, it, you know, after you're working on it a while. So what you have is, yeah, see, this is wrong. Sorry.
So are we also talking about proposed fiscal year? Should that be
Yeah, it's,
2027?
this is wrong. I don't know. Let me check if this is the right warrant article.
Well, all the other numbers jive with what you went over.
Okay, so that's fiscal year 26
Is it
is supposed to be 27,
Okay, so we'll just fix those dates.
and
I just double checked all
projected-
the numbers.
26 state distribution will be changed.
Okay, so under state distribution, that date will be changed as well.
but the dollar amount is correct.
Yes.
Okay.
It ties into the first sheet that we just went through. I double checked all the numbers as we were talking. Okay, go ahead, Freddie.
So now you have the total amount.
Fiscal year here too.
Then we,
Just so you circle it. But you know,
Anywhere you see 25 or 26 will be corrected,
27,
to
should be 27.
correct.
except for state distribution will be,
26.
26, not
Yes,
25.
Correct.
That's a year behind.
Yep.
And where is that in the
Second
document?
line, Claire, under the state distribution.
Gotcha, okay.
Yep.
Because it's against last year's income.
Yep.
So the next line is the next grouping is the set-asides for open space, historic, and community housing. They're all the same amount except for historic preservation. We note that we allocated towards a bond. In admin. Then you have, so here we have the budgeted reserve discretionary set aside. That is what's left after we pay out all of the bonds and put the set asides from what we expect to have as a,
Can I just ask one question?
uh-huh.
So on the front sheet, it listed as 882, and on the back sheet, it's 881. Which one is the correct number? See, they're two different. This says it as 881, and this one has it as 882.
Yeah, I'm going to have to. It's $1.
Yeah, it's.
I'm going to have to go back. That is what I'm talking about, the rounding problem.
Okay, that's
I'll
fine.
go
I
back
just
and go
wanted to
through
check.
every single one, and some of them may go down $1.
Okay,
and I
that's
might have-
fine.
So that's why this is a draft.
Excuse me.
So then we have the annual debt service, all of the bonds that we have to pay. So we have the 84 Main Street preservation restriction, the Southborough Library bond, that restoration, and the townhouse.
The,
Then you have that
Go
14,
ahead. Did you have a question, Grant?
yeah, sorry. Is the townhouse in there twice, this FY 26 in?
correct, because, so our town treasurer tries to get the best bonding and the best return on our article, right? So we author, when we went to town meeting, I forget the exact amount, it was 2 million something.
2.2.
2.2 million plus another 200,000 we took out of an account, right? So he knew that right away we weren't going to need all of that because he talks with the facilities. We weren't going to need the full 2 million right away. So he only bonded the amount needed in that term. And that's why there's other monies that then had to be, as the project was, the phases was completed, he had to borrow more money to pay the bills. And he did that because with bonds, he usually tries to find other bonds the town needs and roll them together to get the best return, the best interest rates.
So for that one, does the, and I can't look at the spreadsheet while I'm sharing, but does the 134 plus the 14 match what the bonded amount was from the
No.
spreadsheet? Okay.
The townhouse is complicated. So we have, it doesn't go over what we authorized.
Okay, yeah.
And we have lowered it because we knew there was some money that we weren't going to need at all. So last year, I think, when they were issuing the note, we said go 100,000 lower because we weren't going to need to use that. And there's still, not exact, but there's maybe 100,000 more than the bills because we don't have the PR and the signage. And so there's some extra funds in there. And we're hoping not to bond a 20-year bond on money we're not going to need, which is why we're trying to get that PR finalized.
Okay, thanks.
So,
So is that it for Article 1, Freddie?
yeah, and at another meeting, I'll say this, that I went through the bond last few meetings ago, and I had the different columns for the different townhouse bonds and the total amount So we can do that again, but we don't need it for right now.
No, I know where that document is, so I can grab that. Thanks.
So does anyone have any questions on the warrant article? Like Freddie said, it's just taking the numbers from the spreadsheet that we went over initially, inputting it. Is there any other questions other than changing the dates that we spoke about? Claire?
I really don't know, to tell you the truth. So there's some corrections and then, and once again, if everybody else understands all this stuff or they've read through this and, everything's good with them, I'll go through it like on my own. Are we voting on this tonight?
Yes, they have to, well, unless we held another meeting prior to,
Yeah, but well, how can we vote on it? Because there's quite a few corrections.
well, you can vote on it for, the only changes we're making, Claire, tonight, and we can put it in the motion, are changing these dates. Changing the date in the first paragraph to fiscal year 27, Freddie? I just want to make sure, because I intended for the motion. I mean, if you want to wait, Claire, we'll have to hold a special Zoom meeting.
No, it's up to the
to-
pleasure of the committee because I can always abstain. So,
Okay.
it,
So the
you know, it's up to what everybody else feels comfortable with.
Verified.
I just have one more question.
Go
The
ahead.
FY '26 annual debt service, the highlighted word note,
Note, yeah.
is that supposed to be replaced with something, or will that be?
Yeah, I want to. I noted it last night, and it was from last year where I think we had bond in there, but it's not a bond. So I highlighted it, and I'm going to double check what the proper term is, but, I mean, I would ask for that to be corrected. It's a simple thing, it's just, it's a note, not a bond. So should we say we're paying a bond when we're paying a note? I guess it didn't matter last year, but
Can we say towards the historic restoration of the Southborough Townhouse, or do you have to say okay?
you have to say.
The type of,
You have to
financial
say,
mechanism.
and I don't know if the bond was the legal language or not, so I'm just calling it out because
Okay.
it stuck out to me that we're paying off a note, not a bond. And maybe that's the legal language we have to say, maybe all
Yep.
of these things are bonds, I don't know.
So I guess the question is then, we know that we have to change the dates and we're waiting on whether it says note or bond. Is the committee comfortable with making a motion to approve Article 1 with these changes? And we'll go through the changes one more time, or they have to be to the town administrator by the 28th of February. We can hold a Zoom meeting just to see the changes put in and take a vote. It's up to what everybody wants to do.
Well, can I say something else?
Yeah.
There's that $1 difference.
Okay.
The round up or down.
So I would be comfortable moving to a vote. It's just kind of the mechanism of how we vote on it without it being final. I think we just have to phrase the motion correctly.
Right.
If we can do that, then I would be in favor of doing that.
Okay.
If for other
Listen.
reasons we have to wait, then
Historically, we had these articles that the committee makes a motion to approve it with the edits, with the caveat that I will go in and make the corrections, and then Lisa will approve them before. And then here's the other thing, then it goes to the town, everyone at the townhouse and the, you know, town council.
Yeah.
Will review it, and, so there's another level of review after we submit this. This is just to submit it. It's not really
Yeah.
final until after that review.
So, yeah, in that case, I would be in favor of going forward with it tonight.
Okay. Katie? Same. Ellen? Okay. Claire, Kristen, sorry, thank you.
I'm okay voting tonight, although I would say though that if Claire, if you would prefer more time, I'm also okay jumping on a Zoom before the 28th. Either way, I'm fine.
Okay. So, and again, Claire, if you want to talk to Freddie about this article, even if you have further questions or, talk to me about it, further questions.
Well, are we
mean-
talking about a motion or this just discussion?
Well, I haven't done the motion yet.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I'm just asking you and
Yeah,
saying.
I need more, I'm being very straightforward. I need
Nope.
more information, otherwise I'll just abstain.
Okay,
I'm open to a Zoom meeting if we want to do that.
okay. I guess we'll have to, at the end, we'll have to figure out a time. And Claire, in between, so you're just looking to see a document with these change, again, I want to make sure you have what you need because we're going to run out of time. We need to make sure that we're able to do it for the next Zoom meeting. Do you have questions other than wanting to see the changes put in that we talked about, the date changes and the dollar?
Okay, so, am I correct that the last time that this was reviewed, as Freddie said, was with Brian, and nothing has changed since then, since the November timeframe?
No. The percentage of the state distribution
Okay,
was changed from 10%, which was a holdings number way back in November when the coalition said, your guess is as good as mine. And then it's early to, there are unknowns in what the state distribution will look like. It's based on the real estate market and how many other towns sign on and pass CPA, because then they start withdrawing from the trust fund. So at that time, I put in 10% as just a placeholder. And since then, and this has never been a Brian question, it's never been accounting or the selectmen, it's based on my recommendation to the CPC, based on the information I get working with the coalition and DOR, if DOR has any info, which they don't yet. So the 14% is the best guess with the best information available at this time. And that is how we determine the state match distribution.
Can I ask a clarifying question?
Mhm.
So are you saying that that's the only number that changed, but then it impacted other numbers going down because now it's not 10%, it's 14? Or is that the only number that changed?
It changed balances because you're adding more money in. So the rest of it is a pure 10% of that number. So that number increased, so the 10% went up. Because, so therefore, the set-asides went up by that 10% of that amount. And then on top of that, the balance that was left after you took the 10% set-asides out was higher. And that goes into the budgeted, well, it goes to pay off the bonds, and then there's some more money for the budgeted reserve for the account for next year.
That makes sense.
It's not a, it's a pure percentage. And if, if it's off, we get more, we do an adjustment. If it's under, we can deal with that, but.
So if it would be helpful, I can edit the dates in a Word copy to make them correct, but I can't deal with the issue of the $1 off or the note. So
Yeah, that was something new that came in last year, and it was very confusing because
Yeah.
everything added up perfectly. But you don't, when you do these articles, you don't put the cents in. There's
Yeah.
no cents. And then if they round up, it was off by 2 cents, and I'm not kidding, DOR had an issue.
So Claire, let me just ask you this. So if you have, does this make more sense to you, or do you want to talk to Freddie offline? I mean, I'm just trying to understand, so just so I can make sure that when we meet again, that
Yeah,
your
well,
questions are
the other
answered.
thing, and maybe everybody understands this, I certainly understand rounding. What I can't understand is how it is making such a difference.
Such a difference in what way, Claire? Sorry.
Well, Freddie referenced a couple times that, well, the problem was because of the rounding. I guess I don't understand. I mean, what are you off by $1 or something?
Right,
That's what I'm saying. There was a number that was off by $1.
that's the only
Okay,
number
all
that
right, okay.
changed.
that might not have come back because the audio isn't great, but that's okay.
So what
But-
happens if you have three numbers, say the set-asides and the exact amount is 87 cents on all three? You have
So
to round
it
that back.
increases it by $3.
You have to reduce it. And when you are dealing with Excel, it will, anything over 50 cents, it rounds up. And maybe there's a program that will do it differently, but.
Mhm.
And that came up for the first time last year.
I mean, what you guys have to think about, if you feel that, I mean, you can take a vote. I mean, it doesn't have to be 100% all one way or the other. I don't want to hold it up. If the majority of the committee is comfortable with this, well, then that's why you take a vote.
I personally rather hold it up here than at town meeting, if that's gonna be impactful. Could we make a vote that says, Claire and Lisa have looked at it with Freddie?
Katie, can you speak a little closer?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so can we, I said I'd rather have it held up here than on town meeting floor. I think it'd be much more impactful that way. And then I was wondering if we could make a motion that Claire and Lisa review this with Freddie in the vote to approve.
May I say that it's never going to be held up on town meeting floor, ever.
Mm-mm.
It goes through, it will go through accounting. Brian will look at it again and town,
Oh, I just mean if somebody were to vote differently from the rest of the board. Like if somebody were to abstain, then there's a question. And you have every right to do that. We all do.
right.
But if it's something like this, it's almost kind of a technicality in my opinion. I could be wrong first time.
Why don't we just take a Zoom meeting and have it done perfectly for your next Zoom meeting? I'd prefer that personally.
Let's do that and let's have Claire go over with Freddie any questions you have other than the changing of the date. If you have any questions on the dollar amounts, let's do that in advance so it can just be a meeting to take votes. Is that okay with you, Claire?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do that then. Okay, Freddie, why don't you go over Article 2?
All right, so this is,
And again, it's going to be the dates again, I believe.
how did all these dates?
So gonna have to. But as you go through, it's fine.
Well, before you look at this, there's another sheet. Can you pull it up?
Grant, it's the third sheet.
Sorry, name?
Hold on one second. Let's see. Let me get to the Dropbox.
FY26 adjustment?
Probably, yes.
Really?
That one?
Yes, thank you. All right, Freddie, what's up?
So this is up to the committee if they want to take this or not. So there were, last year it was like $20,000, so we took it. This year I brought it up, but there was no guidance, so I thought I pulled it together for you. So what you had last year is we budgeted, if you go on this adjustment sheet, we budgeted the state disbursement at 73,362, and it came in at 77,378. So there was $4,000.16 difference. Our surcharge, we budgeted at 481,742. It came in billed out at 495,831, $14,089 adjustment. You add the two together, it comes to 18,105. And that is the fiscal year 26 adjustment. Then you have to take the set-asides out, which is 1,811 to each of the three set-asides. We're not taking the historical out because that's already been taken care of. And then there's the admin. So you add that up and then subtract it from the total set-asides, and you have
11,768.
which goes into the budgeted reserve discretionary account for fiscal year 26. because we're working on fiscal year 26 adjustment. It doesn't go, it's not a 27 fiscal year income, right?
Okay, so then your numbers, these dates might be right then, Freddie.
I'll double check, but I would hope so. So it's up to the committee, and here's what you to think about. This is diminuous, you're not required to take it. When do you decide if you're taking adjustments or not? And if the CPC balance in the accounts, like we're a couple of big projects and you're at very, you don't have a big savings accounts, to put it that way. You don't have a balance to draw on. Does this become significant for a project or not? So it's up to you to decide that. You don't have to take it. It adds a little bit more into each of the, like $1,800 into each of the buckets, and it gives you,
I have a dumb
almost
question.
$12,000 more to use towards a project in the fall. If you're that close to
Yep.
needing it, that's something to think about, but it's not required.
Freddie, why wouldn't we?
Sorry,
Why wouldn't we take it?
why
Go ahead.
didn't you take it?
No, why wouldn't we?
Because it's not a big dollar amount when you have $1 million in your account, but it's,
But I mean, what's the downside? Is it just the work? Or I don't mean just the work. Is it the work involved?
and it's another vote at town meeting. I don't know why you don't, but
Right.
I'm just making sure that you understand that it's your option. Certainly if it's a $50,000,
I mean, in the world of rec, $12,000 isn't something to sniff at. So
Yeah.
well,
that
it's a
I
timing issue.
agree.
Let me say this, it's a timing issue also, because the money doesn't go away because you don't take it.
Yep.
So that's something else to understand. With CPA, and it's kind of a hard concept, but we're budgeting and then we're based on our best estimate. And, if you want to look at it, what did we have for an income last year? 495,000. In between this, we estimated for the state match and the surcharge, we came in within $18,000 of it. I mean,
So let me ask you this. So if we don't do this article, where does this $18,000 live?
well, it lives in an account, but you don't
Which
have
account?
access to it
Okay,
until,
until,
I'm trying to think because it's different years, right? So this this would become available July 1st of 2026 because the money's there and you won't be using it. Can't use it.
but what bucket will it go in if we don't
It
distribute?
goes
it?
into the general fund,
Okay.
but
so-
it will not be available until town meeting 2027.
I'll just note that we did this last year. I was in favor of it then.
Agreed.
We already talked about one project potentially coming back in fall town meeting,
Yep.
so I
I
think it makes sense to have more cash on hand.
Oh,
I
and
agree.
before you vote on this, I'm going to say there's another reason for I didn't go over it during it. There are projects in front of you that we haven't discussed. You haven't taken a vote on them. In this warrant article, I put everything that was left from from the
I understand.
potential income, not the potential, but the income for this year, right? I put it all into the budgeted reserve, which if you were funding some of these projects, you might be using that money against it. I made an assumption that's going to be clear why later on in the meeting, but, so you just want to know that that's an issue there too, that you get to decide that.
Okay. Any questions on this piece? Claire?
My question would be, why are we keeping so much in reserve? My answer would be, I guess, to have extra money for future projects.
So why do you keep money in reserve is because you have the money that comes in and that's where it
Right.
goes? and it's for future projects. If you don't have a project to fund,
Yeah, and that's why I
That's where it
said, we're
resides.
keeping it in there for future projects.
Yes. Correct.
the budgeted reserve is a unique account that allows you to spend fiscal year 27 funds. I'm just trying to figure out how to say this.
So, so if somebody was to ask the question, are we keeping too much in reserve? The answer would be no.
My-
Correct. It's not a matter of how much it's not like you're keeping it in reserve. It's like it has to reside somewhere.
Yeah.
It's available for,
Okay.
in some
Yeah.
way, it's
right.
it's
I
funds
just-
that are in an account for only for CPA use.
I
Where they
gotcha.
reside, this gives you the flexibility to use those funds in the fall. Otherwise, you don't get access to that money until after the fiscal year
Gotcha. Okay.
27 tax rate is set. And then that means town meeting of 27, and the funds aren't available until July
and
1st
it-
of
And,
27.
and understand, I'm just bringing up these questions because this is a very tight budget year, as everybody realizes. So some people are going to possibly ask some questions that have never come up before, and we just don't want to get blindsided.
The CPA budget is different than other budgets, though, because it's a predetermined 1% of the tax rate. It's not like
Understood, but then
we're,
somebody could say, well, maybe we're, you don't want them to say, maybe we ought to look at that 1%. So
look at that
just
money for what?
Look at the 1%.
just as long as we can explain to people why the money that is in reserve is the correct amount and what it's gonna be used for, then we're all set.
Yes. So you are all set. It's just a procedural. It doesn't change the dollar amount.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready to move on.
Okay, so my suggestion is, well, we're meeting, one more meeting anyway. Let's verify, will you verify the dates on this one too?
Where?
On Article 2, just go through and verify that these are all the correct dates. Because there was question on.
Yeah, I understand,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, so if we can just verify and we'll do this one at that time and if there's no other questions.
There is a date.
Okay, so Freddie will do that. When we come back on our Zoom, we'll have everything corrected.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, there's that. Okay, continued review of 27 applications. So at our last meeting and in the packet, we had the draft warrant article for the Affordable Housing Trust. We're just gonna go through that. This is pretty much the exact, and Freddie, correct me if I'm wrong, the exact article that we had last year with the same conditions on it. We just need to plug in the dollar amount, which Freddie has now given us, which is the 59,000, let me go back, sorry, let me grab it. $59,256.09. And that came from this.
Yep.
Yep. So did anyone have any other questions or comments on this draft warrant article? Again, it's standard to exactly what we used last year. So we'll just kind of go down the line. Ellen, any?
Sure, so. Okay. I think the trust looked at this briefly at our meeting last night. And just one quick comment was in the second paragraph where it says CPA article, for the purpose of community housing to the Southborough Community Housing Trust Fund. We were not sure that that is the name. And I know that it's the same as what was used last year, but just wanted to confirm that that is the appropriate name for the trust.
Okay, where,
So
I
Line
don't know
6 or something?
which document.
it's the warrant article for the trust,
Here, right?
yep,
warrant article for the trust, it's right here.
So isn't it your committee?
Yeah, but what she's saying.
yeah,
is-
so we're
Do you know what your name is? And
Yeah,
we'll
the
switch it.
Affordable Housing Trust Fund. So I think.
We'll just
the
change that?
Southborough Community Housing Trust Fund, I think,
Okay.
could just be stricken.
And-
To be expended by the Affordable Housing Trust.
Just the Affordable Housing Trust, okay. Not Southborough Affordable Housing Trust?
Aren't you guys the boards of trustees of the affordable housing? something?
We are.
Okay.
To be expended by the Board of Trustees of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
All right, hold on.
So I'm sorry, which line are you on?
Grant's highlighted it up above, the second line, right there.
Sorry, I can't highlight.
No, it's fine, where it says purposes of community housing, okay, to the Southborough Community Housing Trust Fund. And it should say the Board of Southborough Affordable House, or is it just
The Board.
Board of
Doug's on here too,
Trustees.
if you want. The Board of Trustees
Yep.
of the Affordable Housing Trust
of
Fund.
the Affordable Housing, Southborough's not in it at all?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay, so that's what it's gonna say now, Freddie. Instead of expended,
To the,
wait a minute,
for the purpose of community housing, to the
trustee
strike Southborough, add in trustees.
of the, take out community. So it's gonna read trustees of the Affordable Housing Trust to be expended by the Affordable Housing Trust, again?
Can we delete that part too?
Okay,
and
so just
To be
say,
expended in compliance.
yeah, to be expended, for the purpose of community housing, to be expended by the Board of Trustees of the Affordable Housing Trust.
So we're going to take out that whole line that says Southborough Community Housing
Correct.
Trust Fund and then add in to be expended by
The Board of Trustees.
Board of Trustees.
Of the Affordable Housing Trust, yes. Okay. And I'm gonna suggest things, we're making changes on this as well, that we'll get a clean draft, and that's what we'll vote on at our Zoom meeting as well. Okay,
But let me just ask, are you guys sure of your name? Because I've been to other meetings where people weren't sure.
That's what it says on the website right now, but that's not a guarantee, but that's what I would go with.
so while we have a little bit of time, Ellen, if you could just verify the name and get that to Freddie, then we'll just plug that in.
Because there was a warrant article setting you up.
Mm-hmm.
That warrant article, whatever that name is that you were set up as, is the name we should
Oh.
use.
The town's website, I think, has the charge, or it must have been the warrant article or something, and it says, the principal mission of the Southborough Board of Trustees of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund.
Okay, Housing
Using the
Trust
16
Fund.
powers granted to it, but, so I don't know if that's,
So the Southborough, I'm just getting this right, Southborough Board of Trustees of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Great, okay.
that's, at least that's on the website, which I would
right,
imagine
but
just
Ellen,
comes
you-
from the.
So
bylaw.
I would, my experience is what's on the website. You want to see what the warrant article said.
Yeah.
It wasn't that long ago.
Right,
That's
Wouldn't
the-
it be in the bylaws too now? Or is it not a bylaw committee? I can
I-
look up the bylaws quickly.
We voted on it at a town meeting, right?
yeah.
So whatever was in that warrant article is the name of the committee or the
All
board.
right, so we'll check on that and we'll fill
I
that in.
agree with that, what Freddie said. It's
All right,
just,
Well, thank goodness.
So we'll just verify and we'll plug that in. Okay. Was there anything else, Ellen, from the trust?
So nothing else from the trust, just
Okay.
quickly looking through it.
Yep.
One question I had, so what's under section A?
Yeah,
It says notwithstanding the trust bylaws, all funds expended pursuant to this grant agreement.
oh. Here,
I see it.
This is the article.
So to this article,
yeah, this article.
that was, our warrant was a grant agreement when we wrote it, and then by the time it went to town meeting, it wasn't.
Okay, so we'll just change. that
Pursuant to
article.
this, is it article the correct term?
Warrant article.
All funds expended pursuant to
This warrant article
approved?
shall be limited to pursuant to approval of this warrant article. Does that make more sense?
I can,
Expended versus-
we could ask council.
Pursuant to this appropriation.
Pursuant to this appropriation. Yeah, that works. How does appropriation work, everybody?
Like I said, this goes to town council,
Right,
so we can flag that just for his approval. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
okay, Ellen, did you have anything else?
Just on the next page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the fifth paragraph, it's the second one under section F. The end of that second line, qualifies community housing, there's just a typo, a number 31
Oh,
in there.
I see it,
What is it?
right here, 31. As community housing, 31.
There's no 31.
No, I don't know what 31 was. It's just a typo. Okay. Okay. Anything else?
The paragraph under restriction,
Yep.
the deed restrictions executed for each unit of housing created or preserved pursuant to this grant. Again, I don't know if we need to take out the word grant.
Oh, again,
What, excuse me, but we went through this a lot last year. If this is funding, was it a grant or not? And we were told that it was a grant. What is the question?
Just wanting to make sure we're consistent with our wording.
we said appropriation on the prior paragraph, well, on the front page. We took out grant agreement and
Well,
put,
so there's a difference between a grant agreement and a grant funding, and I'm just recalling that. Do you want to just call it an appropriation and not a grant? Is that,
that's the question, for consistency.
I'm not seeing the reason for a change from what we did last year. Didn't town council vet it last year?
well, obviously some things got missed, but like the name, but
Well, they didn't exist.
I had
at the time, Right,
I-
because it was Shop C with the Affordable Housing Trust, essentially.
So the issue was that the term grant, we had a lot of discussions because I was always told this isn't a grant, it's a, an appropriation of, it's not like a regular grant where you apply and you were granted a grant, but town council came back and said, or we went through a lot of the language of the act, and I mean, there's a lot of research, and I'm kind of thinking if grant got left in there,
So why don't we
flag that,
flag it?
okay?
Okay,
Yeah, I was just thinking, I thought we came to an agreement last year that we were all happy with.
After a lot of discussion
Yeah,
over
so
one word. Yeah, so.
well,
You'd like appropriation because it is consistent, so we'll ask, does it need, is there a reason for it to be grant?
Yeah, if it should be grant, then it should be grant. I'm just trying to make sure we're
yeah,
talking about it the way we want to be talking.
okay. Okay, and we can pose that when it goes to council even. Okay, was there anything else, Ellen?
I think just the end of that sentence, where we just were, I think it's probably a holdover from a previous sentence. So the deed restrictions executed for each unit of housing created or preserved pursuant to this grant must be approved and accepted by the town. And then it says will have a perpetual deed restriction attached to ensure affordability. I think we covered the deed restriction in the first half of that sentence. And that,
The deed restriction executed for each.
I think that it was attached is not just that there's a deed restriction.
then we just need to say and will have.
Right, and will,
Yeah.
yep. Add word and. Okay. Anything else, lady?
Nope.
Okay. Eddie, anything, Grant?
I only have the name of the committee.
Okay. Okay,
That's the Board of Trustees of the Southborough Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Say that.
Southborough
10
Board
times
of
fast.
Trustees of the
you
Affordable
write-
Housing Trust. I have it written down. I'll give it to you.
Okay.
I'll give it to you, Freddie. That's fine.
Is that different than what we thought? Grant, was that from the Warren article?
It is from the bylaw, which was based on the warrant article.
Yeah, we don't know for sure for the warrant article. We're just gonna assume that's what it is, but we'll go back, we'll look.
Well, it does say adopted 9/30/24 STM by
All right,
Article
so
11.
we'll go back and look just to be sure. That's fine. Okay, Claire, did you have anything further? And again, this will come back at our Zoom meeting for approval, final approval.
Yeah, you guys were going back and forth. I couldn't hear, but my feeling is that, as long as the Affordable Housing Trust people are comfortable with it, then I'm comfortable with it. I
Okay,
mean, Kristen, maybe you could hear better than I could. It just, I really,
No, it was hard at times, but I agree with you. I was kind of like, well, if Ellen and if she's
Yeah.
good, we're good.
okay, thank you. All right, so we'll come back with that one. All right, that leads us to Fayetteville Park improvements, and I'm gonna toss this one over to Kristen.
Yeah, I just want to make one comment on the affordable housing. Like, I'm going to spare you guys, but I don't support this article in its current state. So, again, I'm not going to make you listen to me again, but it's in record. I'm looking at myself now on camera. So yeah, on recreation. So let me start by saying, again, this is in regards to anyone, I don't think anyone who's watching, but anyone that may watch, in regards to the Harold Fayetteville Memorial Park improvements that we want to make, specifically the dog park, as well as a splash pad, in response to what we've heard from the town in terms of what they would like to see for recreation. We've not formally voted on what I'm about to share, but we have two CPC related votes that Travis, director of the CPS, director of recreation, and I discussed and agreed to put forward to the commission, hopefully in the next week or so. Verbally, I did speak with our vice chair, Don Dumont, and he is also in agreement. So we've listened to the community. I think if I want to emphasize anything about this particular project and working with the CPC, is I do think it's been a very collaborative effort between the neighbors, recreation, Travis, and the CPC. And we continue to want to pursue this project very much. As we've talked about in previous meetings, the surveys went out. The majority really do want this project to move forward, including some neighbors, but the major concern, as we know, is the need for increased parking potentially. Well, the need for increased parking, take out the potentially. We have the spots along Central, and we've decided, and we have deeded spots in the lot next to the new Historical Society building, and we believe we've identified viable solutions to protect not only the current availability directly next to and intended for the park, but also to increase available spots, working with Activitas and others. Obviously, we don't want this to go forward unless everyone's comfortable. We really, again, and want to do this in partnership with all the parties involved, while still delivering the town what we think would be significant improvements to arguably one of the best parks in town, certainly with the best view. So we're going to remove the article from this town meeting and place it onto the fall town meeting to allow that extra few months to work through the concerns that have been put forward. So not withdrawing the plan and not changing the general goal of the plan, but getting more community input again on the design, as we've been doing, and focusing in on the parking. We have multiple things in motion to make us think we'll be in a very good shape come fall. Other than discussions, obviously, with the community members, with the police, the town, but also we're working with Activitas, our architecture firm, we're going to work with them to do a traffic study. We've already got the details, the cost, the rec center, the recreation department would fund this. It's not a huge cost. Like I said, I can't share a lot because we need to finalize this with the commission in our next meeting. But we think if we can do that survey, that will just help kind of respond more to and bring clarity to what has been the concerns of those in the community around the parking. We also have, again, some few other options in progress that we think in the fall we could be in a better position to alleviate some of those concerns. So the two votes that need to happen are, one, to formally take this article off the table, and what I'll try for this specific meeting, and I'll try to get the commission meeting before our Zoom meeting so we can have the vote and formally go through the motions to withdraw it. But again, definitely want to bring it forward in the fall. So we will not stop with our community outreach. We have 2 dates that have been finalized for community outreach. Right now, what we're looking at with Activitas, so this is the opportunity to bring the community in to speak directly with the architects, which we've been doing, and we've already gone through a few iterations, but these would be more publicly announced or publicized meetings with them Wednesday, March 18th, where we kind of get together, and it's more of a, talking through the current plans, what are people's concerns, what are our options, and then replaying that to the public on Tuesday, March 31st. We were planning this all in anticipation of obviously the April town meeting. So perhaps we'll adjust those. I'm actually kind of in favor of just keeping them for now, but again, we need to discuss that as a commission. So the 2 votes that we'll be taking that night are deferring the article and then also approving the traffic study to take place over the next few months.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. And I would suggest also during that time that, a conversation is had with the select board regarding, some of the parking issues that have been brought up as well.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea at this point, Kristen. I think you guys have put a lot of work into this. I think there's a lot of support for this project. And I think just making sure that it's all tight and tied up for town meeting is really the best thing to do. It is a lot of money. And, you want to make sure, we all want to make sure that, the best project forward with all of the questions answered as much as we can. So I thank you for that. We'll kind of go down the line if anyone has a question or comment for Kristen. Nope. Grant, anything?
Thanks for the update, Kristen. And I think it also makes sense. The only thing I'll know is, I'll just ask the question of whether or not you actually need to formally withdraw, or whether, I think what we've done previously is just kind of kept it open.
Yeah.
And like you gave us a verbal indication
Okay.
that, you're intending to have it be on the fall meeting. And I think that's kind of what historical did.
Yep.
We didn't take a vote to
Okay,
like
even better.
withdraw or resubmit,
Yeah.
but obviously that's up to the commission to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we are going to have to work through the summer. We're going to have potentially this article, the water tower at the cemetery. We talked about golf as well. So, we are going to have work cut out for us, over the summer as well, just to get us in line. I did verify that at this point in time, all signs are definitely, I talked to Kathy Cook, there is the intention to have a fall town meeting. So we will fall within that window. So Claire, is there anything you'd like to add to Kristen or anything on this?
No, thank you. I'm good.
Okay. All right, Kristen, thank you. And, we'll continue working forward with this. Much appreciated.
No, thank you all.
And next up is.
Sorry, Lisa, can I
Absolutely.
really quickly, just one quick thing I wanted to note, just on the trust application. is
Yes.
We got a letter this morning from the select board in support of this article. So I put that into the Dropbox.
Okay.
And just wanted to
Thank you.
make note that it's there along with the Housing Authority's letter in
Perfect.
support.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, Peninsula Trails update. Freddie spoke to Kat, so I'll turn this over to Freddie.
So,
And thank you for doing that, Freddie.
right, so I've been communicating with Kat over the project, and then I went to the coalition for their advice, because this is the 2020 Trails article has funds not expended on that project. They wanted to transfer over to the 2024 project. And one of the complications is that even with that infused funding, that they won't be able to complete the full scope of what had been presented in the Warren articles, which was a footbridge and a boardwalk. So I spoke with Stuart, the executive director of the Community Preservation Coalition, was out of town. And when I finally spoke to him, he said, it's really not a CPA article. It's really a question for town council, because it's not about whether these uses are allowed. It's just about the funding mechanism, which is a town council. So I went through the issues. I created a list of questions because I wanted to make sure all of the options were considered. So we didn't say, well, how about this? And he said, no, you can't do that. You know, like, what were all the potentials? And one of them is, with the existing funds, can you just transfer? Well, the first one was what the Trails Committee was hoping for, was that we could just pay bills for the 2024 project out of the 2020, and that's not an allowable use. The next one is, can we just transfer the money from, with a simple warrant article? And what town council came back, the way to do this is we have to close that account out as finished. And then another warrant article for a project that is, towards that existing project, which requires an application for the CPC to review what is this month. To go to town meeting, you have to know what is this funding going to be spent on. And it gets tricky because it's going to be spent towards a project that's already in play. And in conversations with not conversations, but emails, and he said, which makes sense, right? That then they make an application for a new one. And that it's not like it's not been done before, where a project doesn't have enough funds and they need to be supplemented. We're going to be dealing that with the golf course irrigation. So what I recommended to Kat is that they come up with an application, but instead of they were just trying to transfer this existing funds over. And if you can't do that, it makes sense to find out what the full project, to create the full original project, like the golf course is doing, find out what funds are needed to create that project and come back with an application for the full amount, or have conversations if you don't want to do that, but at least have considered it. Because it's very, if you have a project out there that town meeting voted on, and down the road, somebody says, well, where's the boardwalk? We voted to build a boardwalk and there's no boardwalk. And we can document it in our, I asked town council that question too, that if it doesn't happen, there's ways we have to document that it didn't occur. We don't have to go to town meeting and tell them to take a vote, but there must be some way we document it. But I think, and Kat can't be here today because she's traveling, and she agreed that that was a path they're going to follow, and they're like to come back for fall town meeting as well.
So that's 4 articles. I did get verification from Kathy that it shouldn't be an issue to get any of these on the fall town meeting. So, okay, so we have 4 articles to work on over the summer. Thank you, Freddie, and thank you for doing that.
I think that's good news as well.
Yeah.
It's the
meeting.
best case
Yeah.
scenario, because anything else is just,
Yep. Okay, any questions or comments on that?
So just, I agree this, it feels like a good plan for this project. Kind of procedure wise, do we need to make it clear or somehow state that, the plan is not to be accepting applications for new projects for fall town meeting? These are all ones that we have received applications for, are working with. I think just kind of given the time we spent on the application
Yep.
process in the past, the amount of time it takes to get things ready, that we just want to be mindful of, setting a precedent of how we're accepting applications going forward.
Yep.
can I make a suggestion? May I, is it okay, Lisa?
Yeah, cool.
I believe the way to look at these are applications in progress.
Ongoing.
So that, and I believe the handbook says you don't take, unless an extreme emergency, extenuating circumstances, you don't take fall town meeting applications. So this is applications in progress. I think what you need to do, though, is get your best guess on when fall town meeting is going to be, and then set a pre-date deadline, just like you have a deadline for regular applications, because you need to have these buttoned down ahead of time. And you're also going to be bumping into the next year's applications. And that's a lot for the committee to juggle if you don't have this year's applications pretty well tied up before you get a whole new round and trying to be reviewing those while you're going to town meeting with it. And that's what, four articles?
Yeah.
4 projects?
So this won't even be a discussion until after annual town meeting's over with the selectmen. I mean, it's, everybody kind of knows it's going to happen, but it's not on the radar until they get through town meetings. So I think we just continue to proceed as we are at our monthly meetings, and we continue to move these applications forward.
Right, I'm just trying to point out that you want to at some point have a
Oh,
drop dead
yeah.
date, because
And
You don't
typically
want-
Mid-September to mid-October is what has been,
Right.
right? So I think we can kind of plan on something around
You
that
know,
time and work backwards.
I would,
I agree.
you have these applications. People have been working on them. My experience, in doing grant applications and reviewing grant applications and with other nonprofits, is that the deadline date is when you get stuff. And that you really want to be clear that, and then people tend to, oh, it's the summer, I'm going to take the summer off. People need to be working on it so that you're not getting these applications that still need work in September
No,
when you've
so
got the
Right.
next
I'm
round.
saying, I would imagine that town meeting is supposed to be in, would
Right.
be in mid-September, and then we can set a date backwards from
Right.
that, whether it's May, June, whatever.
And I said, well, we're going to have to work through the summer. Typically, we try to take, but I don't know that we're going to be able to take the time off, depending on how we move forward with all of these. So, okay.
Sorry, I thought you meant have the application deadline in September.
No, no,
and I
no,
was
no,
like,
no, no, no. No, we'll continue working as we are now. I mean, my hope would be to be able to get most of this wrapped up by August, on some of these. I think for historical, I think that's probably going to be very doable. I think for recreation as well, potentially, that could be doable. We could work with the golf course. I mean, we kind of know what the number is already, what they're asking for. So again, I think, we set a goal. My goal is August, but that doesn't mean that, that's where the drop dead date is, but I think we should try to shoot for sooner rather than later, if possible. So, okay, Kristen, did you have anything on the Peninsula Trail?
No, I don't.
Okay, Claire?
I'm good.
Okay, so I'm going to skip over signage for now. I just want to give a quick update. There's a couple updates to some ongoing projects. So there's $7,800 left open from a deed research project for, it was an open space deed research, updating the GIS on subdivisions, and planning board committed 6 months ago, I think, when we started this. They committed to, getting it all done within a year. They just signed a contract. So this is going to get started now. So that's one project that we'll be able to close out. The preservation restriction is currently with Mass Historical. So we're still waiting to hear back feedback from them. I don't know how long that takes.
Which one?
The PR for the townhouse and the library.
Oh, both. Okay.
Yeah, so those are both in the works right now. Did you have any updates to anything, Freddie? I think that was it, just those two
for right now.
for right now. Okay, so it's up to the committee at this point. We could go over signage, or we could enjoy vacation week with Katie's kids and Ellen's kids and go over the minutes and, call it a night. I'll leave it up to everybody as to your preference. I think we are moving forward on closing out some of these projects, which is good. So yeah, I will kind of go down the line and see what everybody wants to do.
Okay, I will give a very, very quick trails
Yes.
signage update.
Okay,
And then happy to hold off on the other ones
Perfect.
until a later time. Just that I was able to connect with Kat about sign locations. And so there are some weather challenges related to that.
Yep.
So the basic plan is she is very open to incorporating additional signage. She noted that the I don't know what it's officially called, but kind of the display case that has all of their information in it
Yep.
will have will credit CPC. And so we're just talking more about making sure that that's the language that we've all talked about, and then figuring out the location of the temporary sign around phase 2. So somewhere that's visible, but you know, not covered in snow for the next few months. So
Yep.
it's an ongoing conversation.
okay. Perfect. Now, I know we had talked about having you and Kristen sit down, I know, but it was around the holidays, there's life, there's everything else. I don't know if you guys had a chance to do that.
We have not. So I think we can do that not before our next Zoom meeting, but
Right.
before our next
Sit-down
meeting.
meeting. Okay, that would be good. Kristen, are you good with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's perfect. So, yeah, I think those are kind of the two big things. We still have golf, and I think, was that, I don't know if it was me that was gonna talk to golf. I'll have to go back and look at the minutes. You know, so we are moving some of these signage projects forward, so,
Yeah, I'll just say, we've discussed it in rec as well. And very similar to trails, right? Same stuff. We're ready to go. We have temporary signage if we want it, that we had previously purchased, that we can throw up at least, where it's easy to, and then we'll have to, as we've talked about, discuss what we want at the Harold Memorial Park. So Fayetteville Memorial Park. But
okay.
again, I think we can defer because the snow pretty much stops us from doing anything right now anyways.
Yep. Okay, thank you. And I'm actually, before our next sit-down meeting as well, I'm going to have a conversation with the chief, the fire chief on the memorial as well. So hopefully we can get some type of clarification on that as well. Okay, approval of minutes. Grant, would you be kind enough to pull them up on the screen? I will say Sue does an amazing job, and she was actually going to Ireland to visit family, and she whipped these out from our last meeting. So thank you, Sue. And she said for me not to take any notes on the edits. She watches the meeting. So if you have any edits, I just suggest you talking to the mic, so when she rewatches it, she can hear. So I think we have one set, which was from our last meeting on, I think, the 28th. So we'll have Grant pull it up first, and then we'll go down the line. and
Oh,
see.
sorry.
I'm sorry, Grant.
No, I had it on my screen. I thought I was sharing. There we go.
All right, so these are the minutes, so we'll just kind of go down the line. Ellen, do you have any edits to those?
So I think what's in red are my edits.
Okay,
So all
perfect.
very minor things, spelling of names,
Perfect.
one or two very minor typos, but agreed they were great and appreciate Sue's work on them.
Oh, that was awesome. We like that. Katie, anything else?
Nope, very well done.
Okay, Grant?
Yeah, I thought they were great. There's one thing which, of course, I can't find it right now. It was something that was, oh yeah. This sentence on line 99 to 101, he prompted a discussion about adding more shaded spaces to the site. I don't think I did. So I'd like to just strike that. I mean,
That?
I'm not
Okay.
against it, but I don't think that actually happened. So I could be wrong, but I just wanted to strike
Okay.
that sentence.
That's perfect. Thank you. Is that it?
That's it for me.
Okay, Claire, did you have any edits?
Yeah, I think it's just clarification, line 102. About the, and I agree, I shared the view that the splash pad would be a hard sell and expressed my concern that it would attract out of towners. I agree with that. Thought the dog park would be a tough sell and asked if it and the splash pad would increase liability payments. And I don't know, maybe that's clear to everybody. I just thought it might be worded a little bit better.
No,
Yeah, maybe we
that's
just-
a good point because we don't have liability payments.
well, it's covered under the town's liability policy, so would increase liability insurance premiums. Is that more in line with what you were trying to say, Claire?
Yes,
Okay.
liability insurance
Premiums.
premiums, yes.
You're good
Well
with that?
said. Well said.
Okay, perfect. Okay, did you have any other ones, Claire?
No.
Okay, thank you. Kristen?
Nothing to add to what's already been said. Thank you.
Okay, and I don't have anything either. So that being said, do we have a motion to approve the CPC meeting minutes from 1/28/25 as amended?
So moved.
26, oh my God. I got 25 stuck in my head now. 26, thank you.
Second.
Okay, we'll have to do roll call. Ellen?
Yes.
Katie?
Yes.
Grant?
Yes.
Claire?
Yes.
Kristen?
Yes.
And Lisa, yes. Okay, perfect. So let's just look at the meeting dates. So again, it'll just be a quick Zoom. And Freddie, how long do you think we need to make the changes and chat with Claire? You think a week?
Well, it has to be done by next week, right?
It's gotta be done by the 28th. So
Is that next week?
that's 9 days.
Let me look at my calendar. so-
Yeah, hold on, I'm pulling mine up right now, actually. So I would suggest, so the 28th is a Saturday,
Yeah, so what about
So-
the 26th?
26th, okay?
Are people available on Thursday, the 26th?
Thursday, the 26th.
Yes.
Claire, are you available Thursday, the 26th?
Yeah, if my plane gets in on time.
Okay.
Which is supposed to be, 3:30-ish, 4:30-ish, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, Kristen, does the 26th work for you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, Grant?
Yep.
Katie?
Yes.
Ellen?
Yes.
Lisa? Yes. Freddie? 26th?
What time?
What time did you guys, well, Claire's getting in it. What did you say, Claire?
3:30, 4 o'clock.
Why don't we stick till 7 just in case she's delayed in any way so she can participate in the vote? Does 7 work for everybody? And again, it'll be a Zoom. We'll have the warrant articles. Claire, when are you leaving?
Sunday.
Okay, so we just need to have you and Freddie have a chat before you leave.
Yeah, I mean,
For
we can talk
questions you
during the
have.
week too. I mean, it's, it's
I don't
also
know that I can
do
do,
over the
sorry.
phone.
Before Sunday?
Okay,
I can't do anything before Sunday. I'm out straight.
okay.
But
Okay,
Freddie, anytime next week, we can just set up a time.
Okay, that's good.
okay, I'll let you two coordinate that.
Yeah, I just got scheduled out Friday, Saturday,
No,
Sunday.
that's fine. I just didn't know if with Claire, if with you going away, if you wanted to not, deal with this and enjoy wherever
Are
you're
you
going. and what you're doing. Okay, so we'll set up a Zoom. for the
Staying within the
26th.
country, it doesn't make any difference.
Okay, so we'll set up for a Zoom for the 26th, so that'll take us through. And do we want to schedule a March meeting? We're not in a rush to do it, but to continue the momentum and moving. Town meeting is the town meeting is the 7th of March?
No, it's April.
No, the special,
Second.
second.
Oh, it's
Oh,
the
it's a Monday
second.
night.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So do we want to do something like,
12th.
I was gonna say the 12th, okay. Already beat me to the punch. March 12th,
That's fine with me.
okay. Everybody else?
sounds good.
Okay.
Yep.
Ellen, Grant,
Yep.
Katie? Okay, we'll do a 7 PM. We'll try to book this room again, and then we'll just, do everything from there. So, that being said, I think we are all set. Just to verify, we are going to do a quick Zoom on Thursday, the 26th at 7 PM. And then we're going to meet again in person, 3/12 at 7 PM. And with that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, roll call vote. Ellen,
Yes.
Katie,
Yes.
Grant,
Yes.
Claire,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
and Lisa, yes. All right, everybody, thank you so much.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, thanks, everyone.
Bye.